We have with us Balasubramanian A, Senior Vice President, TeamLease Services, now joining in. Mr. Subramaniam, you want to, in a way, quantify the impact. And is this a big hit for the companies? This, retrospectively, it's one time, but going ahead, is their annual recurring employee cost bill going to go up?
Hi, morning. Thank you so much for having me. As we speak, we are in the process of implementing the labor codes for all of our customers as well, and we have over 3,000 customers on a base of 3.5 lakh contract staff. And yes, the impact of the labor codes are such that there is unification and simplification of various non-CTC components, such as if you look at PF, ESI, statutory bonus, your gratuity, leave encashment, and all of these things have a unified and singular definition of what wages are. Because unfortunately, until before the labor codes, wages, the interpretation of wages was subjective. And now it's become just unified to one number, which is your total remuneration, which is your CTC. And because of the simplification, what ends up happening is that especially at the entry level, the cost of compliance, that is the PF components, and even the ESI bracket, that is the coverage of people under ESI, has gone up significantly. I'll just give you an example. If you look at how things were before the labor codes were implemented, up to 21,000 rupees of gross wages was the maximum limit under which a person would be covered under ESI. If you look at the entry-level hiring in most formal jobs today, the salary should be just about 21,000, but below 42,000. But now they have made it 50% of total wages, which means whoever is even at 42,000 rupees of salary would still come under the ESI bracket. So ESI contribution is now an additional cost that companies have to bear in order to maintain the cash in hand or the net take home constant. So that's an additional cost. And apart from that, because the wages definition has been standardized now, the provident fund contribution has also gone up. But then when we did this calculation for, let me take the example of one large company for whom we implemented it very recently, on a base of 10,000 people, for about 4,000 people or so, the net take home actually went up. And for another 4,000 people, it actually went down, marginally though, right? Very, very marginally, but the overall CTC actually remained constant or slightly went up. So the cost may go up marginally, but then this is something that can be consumed within one increment cycle itself. So it's about making sure that this is absorbed within one increment cycle. Typically, companies pay out anywhere between 7 to 12% as annual increments, and it can be consumed well within that, and then we move on. So it gets regularized in just 1 year.
All right, let's get in Mr. Raghuvanshi as well into the conversation. Mr. Raghuvanshi, what do you make of these changes and the potential impact on companies?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I think, the issue is that at one end, we are trying to, work on the ease of doing business, and codifying this new labor law is a positive step in that direction because it helps in several ways, especially with women in the workforce, enabling women in the workforce, and in several other ways, also creating a social security net for people in the gray collar or the blue collar job market. I think the issue is the cost of doing business as a result of this new labor law, which is going to go up significantly. And we have to remember in India, it's less than 7% of our people are in employment in the private sector. And these are jobs. So we're just basically increasing the cost of, employing people. And, that's going to have an impact on corporate margins. But I think it's going to be a little more nuanced. The Gratuity Act, the Payment of Gratuity Act 1972 limits the total amount to 20 lakhs. That doesn't mean that companies cannot pay more than that. But because of the income tax limit and the limit under the Payment of Gratuity Act, a lot of companies limit it to 20 lakhs. So I think you'll have to go company by company, analyze their annual reports to see what their gratuity computation rules are.
Mr. Subramaniam, Bala, just come in on the increased cost of doing business now. Particularly, the fear was the hit to quick commerce companies because they employ a lot more gig workers who will now come under the Social Security ambit. Now, TeamLease has also been providing, I mean, for your gig workers, quick commerce has been a big source of growth engine, has been a big source. So can you give us some indication of the increased cost structure for them?
Not really sure if the overall cost of ownership, the total cost of ownership will actually go up even for gig workers. And the reason for this is because most, if not all of the platforms who employ gig workers or the logistics companies for that matter have been providing some form of insurance slash coverage for them or the other. Now, what are really the demands that they have? You look at it in a fourfold manner. They look for health cover, accident cover, life cover, and retirement benefits. It's not like they have not been provided these things so far. It is just that companies at their own discretion have been providing them at a significant cost because they have been providing them through third-party insurers. If the government can step in, as they have announced as part of the Code on Social Security, and ensure some sort of cover and social security benefits for these people, then it's just a substitution of cost. Instead of paying insurers, you pay the government. And the government will be able to provide benefits, hopefully disproportionately compared to what insurers can. If you look at ESI, for example, the government has not really announced if the contribution from gig workers or towards gig workers will be made specifically towards PF or ESI. But I'll just give you the example of ESI. It gives unlimited cashless health cover for self and up to 7 people in the family. How many people even know this? And that's something that only the government can provide. No insurance company will be able to provide that. So it's just a cost substitution, like I said earlier, where instead of paying private parties, you're going to pay the government, and the benefits should probably be the same or hopefully will go up.
Okay, gentlemen, we'll leave the conversation here. Thank you very much for joining in.